Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of City Hall Live. I am Joe Abeyta, and we have a special show. Today, our guests are the principal of Milagro,
yes.
Brenda Korting,
yes.
and U.S. history teacher,
yes, sir.
Freddie Abeyta.
Yes, sir.
How are you folks doing today?
Great, great.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Ms. Korting, I know we had you on for our location show that we had before the school opened. You were doing registration and whatnot. So I guess the big question right now is, how has it been going? How's the school year been going in the brand new building for the last month?
It's great. It's fabulous. Everything has been really smooth. I mean, there are little kinks, but everything has just been beautiful. Everybody really appreciates the space in the building. So it's just been a great first month.
Yeah, no, that's great. I bet you it's been with anything, there's nothing like as a student, I don't know, I guess I do know how it feels because I was one of the first students to be at Capitol High on that first year was open. But there's like that pride, right, of walking in and being a part of everything, right, and the newness of it all.
Yes.
It's just like you have a new way of taking on the school year. You feel like it's a clean slate, right?
Right. The kids are very excited. They're the seventh graders especially, because of course they've never been in such a big building. Some of them are coming from tiny little schools, and they're just amazed. They're just, everything is just so wonderful and new and beautiful, and the gym is so beautiful, and the science labs are so, like, you know, so sciencey.
Yeah, you guys have full-fledged science labs now, right?
Yes.
And a culinary lab as well?
Yes, yes. It just feels different.
Yeah. It was, since the school has been is now open and you have a lot of these options. Is there more options that you're able to offer the students than you were, say, at the old building?
Yes. So we do have some new offerings. We have robotics and we have the culinary arts, which we're very excited about. Of course, we have all of our chorus and choir and guitar and orchestra. And it's just nice to have these beautiful spaces to work in. It does make a difference.
Yeah, and I don't know if they'd call it the, I guess the layout of the school as well, right? Because there's a lot of openness. The halls are really wide.
Yes.
Everybody has their own locker?
Everybody has their own locker.
That is pretty impressive.
It is.
Right?
Yes.
I remember I had my own locker when I was at Santa Fe High, my freshman and sophomore year, and we had the portables and there were lockers, but everybody had their own locker, and it was pretty cool. So I do remember that because lockers have become a commodity, I think, in today's world, right?
Yes.
So was that something that when you were designing, when there was the designing that was going on, that was a must that kids had to have?
It was definitely a conversation. You know, it was a conversation because some people think, oh, they'll put things in their lockers that maybe, you know, you don't want in lockers, or they'll somehow, you know, it could be a distraction. And it could be. And students have had to learn an old combination lock, which many of them have never used before.
It's like handwriting, right?
And Freddy got to actually be the one who distributes. We use history teachers to hand out the lockers and the locks.
That's great. No, that's great. Freddie, we're going to get to you. I just have one more thing I wanted to talk about in general, was that I noticed that when I left, it hit me because it was always there. It was an obvious thing. But after we did our interview and I was driving away, I was thinking to myself, this school really classes up that area of St. Michael's and Yano, right?
Yes.
It really does. I mean, it really looks, it's saying, hey, this is what this whole area could be. And I just think it's a classy looking building.
It is.
It's beautiful.
It is.
It was well thought out, and it just makes everything look so much better.
I mean, it's a beautiful building. Everybody always comments just coming in about how lovely it is. And we really hope to reach out to the businesses around us and actually have it feel more like a community school where we can have more people coming into the building to use it, and inviting people to come in and work with our students, have perhaps more mentorships and the ability to do that, as well as working with the high school and some of the students from the high school. We're hoping that we'll be able to build that as well, because just proximity is great.
Yeah, and another thing that's really good about proximity, I mean, there's nothing worse than being a 8th grader at the end of the school year and you're in summer and you get anxiety about going on into high school and what to expect. I know that it was funny, when I was going to go to Santa Fe High, I was a Catholic school kid all the way up to 8th grade, right? So was my brother too. Believe it or not, he was. He's a teacher at Milagro. But the anxiety of feeling, well, they have motorcycles in the hallways and they stuff freshmen in the lockers and come to find out that it's an open campus and there's nobody riding motorcycles through the halls, and the lockers are really, really small. You'd have to be like half your size in order for anyone to stick you in a locker. But it's great because you can create this relationship of sending those 8th graders over there. It's so close. It's a neighbor to you now, and there's not that anxiety of going to high school that they'll feel comfortable when they do transition into that. Right? That's a luxury that you have being so close.
And we did just have our offsite evacuation, and we walked over to Santa Fe High. So we've already everybody from our building just walked over and sat in the stand. So if they hadn't been there before, now they've been there.
No, that's great. Real quick, I know that you're having. Is it next week? You're having
our grand opening.
So what's the date and the time in that?
So that'll be September 26th from 4 to 6.
Okay.
We also have a football game that night.
Okay.
So there'll be festivities. There'll be a ribbon cutting. It's from 4 to 6.
That's great.
On the 26th.
That's awesome.
Yes, we're looking forward to it.
And that's a public event,
And that's a public event. We're inviting everybody to come in. We want to have everybody enjoy the building, see the building. And I keep telling the students, you know, taxpayer dollars, taxpayer dollars. That's how you got this great building.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, another interesting, you mentioned taxpayer dollars, that the Midtown campus is right there, right?
Yes.
The old College of Santa Fe,
Yes.
Santa Fe Art and Design, University of Art and Design's there. And there's big plans for that too as well.
Yes.
The city's working on something that's going to incorporate a bunch of things, education, film, maybe even some living situation there, housing. And what a cool way of starting it, right? I feel like you guys are the start of that whole block of new beginnings, you know, on that piece of land. So good stuff.
It's great.
Definitely good stuff. Okay, so let's get to Freddy. Now, Freddy, I know you are a born and raised Santa Fe kid, man.
Yes,
You're not a kid anymore. You're an adult now. But I remember you because you played football for the Demons.
Yeah.
Your parents have a staple here. They were both
Yeah.
Capital High grads. They were part of that first class, I think, 4-year class of Capital.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Possibly, yeah. So there's a lot of history that you have here in the city. You understand the city. You were here when it was Via Linda Mall, not Santa Fe Place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's talk about your journey, man, because now you're a teacher at Milagro. You were a student at Capshaw. I'm getting all this background, the Capshaw stuff from Miss Korting.
Yes, it's all true.
So what was your inspiration, man? What made you want to be a teacher and teach here in your community?
So over the years, you know, going through the public schools, I've had a lot of amazing teachers, and they're really the big inspiration behind me. Erin was one of them. I had a teacher at Santa Fe High, Miss Gerber. She was a huge inspiration on me. And I just really felt like I wanted to make a difference in the children's lives that we have. So, and I figured what better place than Santa Fe, my hometown.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's nothing, and I was talking to Miss Korting, there's nothing greater than you coming back and I know Miss Korting, was he a slam dunk when he wanted to get a job at Milagro?
I did my reference checks, as you would.
Yes.
And one of the people who I checked that wasn't on your reference list was one of the teachers he had at Capshaw. And they remembered him and they said, oh, he was such a great student. He was so awesome. He was fabulous. Oh, that would be so great. And let's face it, if that's what a teacher is saying about a student, you're like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, even more so than calling the references that he had listed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so, but to know the culture and the traditions here as well, right? The complexity of Santa Fe.
Yes.
It's a really tough thing to do.
No, yeah.
Right? And nothing more than it's not alien to you. It's something that you actually know and that you could be a problem solver in certain situations, right?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
I just really think that a lot of kids don't get really good opportunities and sometimes are kind of pushed to the side. And I really want to make a difference in that. Every kid deserves an education and every kid deserves to know the value of an education. So I try and instill that in my classroom every day.
No.
You guys want to get to high school, you guys want to get that diploma, I want to see you guys graduate, I want to see you guys graduate from college even, or be successful in life.
Yeah. Freddie, and you're young, man, right?
22 years old,
You're
yes.
22 years old. Talk about overachiever, man. I'll tell you what, I didn't get my college degree until I was 30 after the Navy and stuff. But you are a true success story, man. I mean, you know, going through our public school system and then going and getting your degree and then coming back right away and wanting to give back, man. How was that, man? How was that journey? What was that drive for you to be, you know, to keep on going and to graduate college really early, you know, right on track, if you will, in that dream where kids say, well, I'm going to go to school, graduate, and I'm going to get out of there in 4 years. What was that like?
So for me, I have a wonderful support system. They were really my driving force. My biggest inspirations would be my brothers. I do everything to make them proud. My mom and my dad too, but you know, my brothers are my best friends, and you know, we've been really tight since we were young, and I wanted to show them that, you know, you guys are successful, I can be successful. I want my little brother, who's a 7th grader at Milagro, to see, well, you know what, if my knucklehead older brother could do it, so can I.
That's awesome, man. that is great.
Yeah.
So, okay, so, and you're teaching U.S. history now?
U.S. history.
How's that been? First year teaching?
First year teaching,
So
yeah.
how's that experience been for you?
I really enjoy it. You know, at first it can be a little daunting, a little stressful. I think just getting the kids to, you know, see me as a person and not just a teacher and an authority figure.
Yeah.
Was the hard part at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I think I'm developing pretty good relationships with the students. They seem to like me, I like them. So, I mean, I would say that it's an A+ so far.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. And you're also coaching too as well, right?
Yeah, I coach the football team,
Yeah.
and I'll probably help out with wrestling if we can get a wrestling program going.
That's great. You were you a state championship wrestler?
My older brother, Anthony, was.
Anthony was.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay. And then Peanut, he
He was a tough wrestler too. He never placed at state, but he was a tough wrestler.
and a heck of a football player.
Yeah,
man.
really good
he was
football
he
player.
was like the speed, I think. But who's faster, you or Peanut?
Peanut.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has better lateral speed.
What's Peanut's real name?
Alex.
Okay, Alex. Make sure that dude, don't call me Peanut on TV.
Right?
Right. So, well, that's great, Freddie. I'm really happy for you, and that's awesome that you're giving back to the community. And Freddie is at Milagro, folks. So if you
Yes,
say,
teaching.
I want that guy to teach my kid, he's going to be there for a very long time, and he understands the community. Miss Korting, I know you have there is a lot of folks here that on your staff that have grew up here and understand it, and I think
Right.
that's very important. How important is it, do you think?
That's huge. I think it's so important because I think the students can really relate to somebody who grew up in Santa Fe. And now it increases their likelihood of going to high school, going to college. Oh, Mr. Abeyta told me I could do it. He grew up here versus feeling like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. If you have somebody who's inspiring, Freddie, you also mentioned Mr. Abeyta, Aaron Abeyta, and Barbara Gerber
Yeah.
from the high school. I mean, that's what it takes for students to really succeed, is having that one person who, you know, really sees the shine, you know, that they have something inside of them that can really shine and be something as an inspiration for our community. And I think that's huge, having people from the community at our school, teaching our students, because we're building our citizens, you know?
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we're doing a good job.
No, that's great. I'm really happy that everything is going good for you guys,
Yeah.
because it's a great school. You got great staff out there, and
We do.
and you got great kids too.
We have great kids.
Right?
We have great kids.
So
Yep.
that's a good
Yep.
thing. Okay, so one more time before we
Yes.
leave, the grand opening is when?
Okay, the grand opening is September 26th.
Okay.
That's next week from 4 to 6, and there will be a football game going on at the same time. Who are we
Okay.
playing?
We play Rio Rancho Middle
Rio
School.
Rancho.
Oh, okay.
So Rio Rancho Middle School from 4 to 6. And we will have tours of the building going on. We'll have student ambassadors taking people around so they can see our beautiful facility. It's a great opportunity to come out and see our space and maybe cheer a little at the football game.
No, that's great. Also, your volleyball team's doing really good too,
Oh,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
yes.
no, they're doing awesome.
They're undefeated,
great.
aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have a
so
couple
that-
of the kids in my class, and
Yeah.
I tell them that I'm trying to catch a game, but I'm busy with practice all
Yes.
the time. So
And no, that's
hopefully
great.
soon.
That's awesome.
Yes.
It's great. All the positive things going on at Milagro, you got to go check it out, folks. Just drive by there. You'll see what a great school it is. Then
Yes.
go to the grand opening.
Grand opening,
You'll be able to-
1720.
Will they be able to go
Yano.
inside and look?
Yes, we're going to have tours in the building. We have a
Okay.
beautiful library space, beautiful gym, you know, beautiful
Library.
comments. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the library, I just got to say,
Yes,
right, is just
beautiful.
awesome because it has
Yeah.
like a level of shading, right, that goes in there when the sun's
Right.
rising. You know, you can put shades down
But
and
it's
get a lot of
yeah.
natural lighting in there
Yes,
throughout the
it's
day.
beautiful.
So it is.
Yes, beautiful furnishing, so the kids feel very comfortable there.
Mm-hmm.
We have giant bean bags. What could be better?
Yes, no, absolutely. That's great.
Yes.
Thank you both for coming on. I know that you had to come away from the class and
I
the
told
school.
him I would
and-
excuse him.
Yeah, there you go. You got an excused absence. That's good.
always
You're not
works.
playing hooky,
Right.
Unless you guys go out to eat at Wet's or something on the way over for something. But thank you again for coming
Yes,
on. I really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Folks, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank the Community Gallery for allowing us to host our show here. I want to thank Rod Lambert. And I also want to thank our crew, Christina and Adrian. Folks, have a safe week. Have a great week. This has been City Hall Live.